All right, here, let's do this. We'll do 3, 2, 1, and then we'll high five. 3, 2, 1. This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Head on over to Squarespace/rogue. Spell it right, R-O-U. I literally misspelled. It's the one thing I say. Give it a free trial. Sign up, get 10% off.
What's the code?
Rogue.
How do you
It's on screen. They see it. Back again with Jordan Breeding, our chief most writingest writer who's written the most writings on themodernrogue.com. We started a conversation about the origin of hand gestures. It felt like we covered a lot of territory.
There was a baseball player named Old Hoss. I mean, he had another name, but his nickname was Old Hoss.
Oh, sweetheart, it's a boy. What should I name him?
Old Hoss.
Little did I know.
Or one very specific territory.
That was only the beginning.
Yeah. There are other hand gestures I found. Let's start with bunny ears, specifically behind the head.
Oh, like messing with people. Like,
yes.
Nah,
Like, ha, ha.
Yeah.
So those originally were called the cuckold's horns, or the ass's ears.
You know what? I thought it was gonna get better. It didn't. You open up a present, it's Christmas. Would you rather say, oh good, cuckold's horns? Or would you rather say, oh, ass's ears?
I think ass's ears. I don't think I want to be a cuckold.
You're not the cuckold. Maybe you were the Lothario, and it was somebody else's horns.
I have them. They've been delivered to me on a silver platter, my conquest.
Yes, you're like, that was a delightful evening, milady. Please have your husband's horns delivered to me for Christmas.
That's all I want. But actually, it's not about asses at all. It's supposed to be deer.
The cuckold one, or the...
The asses, yes. The cuckold's ass's ears are actually about a deer's antlers.
Yes.
And the idea is that when one deer kicks another deer's ass, maybe that is what it's about, you get to sleep with their doe. I've never defeated a deer myself.
Who is you in this situation?
You, the deer,
okay.
kick the ass
All right.
of another deer.
Yes.
And then you cuckold him.
Why did it sound like a bird?
Oh, that's the other part. So apparently cuckold is from cuckoo birds.
Yeah.
Which apparently have a thing where they lay their eggs in other people's nests.
Oh yeah, and they get not people's, other birds. The cuckoo will lay their eggs in other birds' nests and tricks other birds into raising them for them.
Okay.
If we're on the subject of crazy bird trivia knowledge, do you remember the Men at Work song, Land Down Under?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You come from a land down under. Like 25 years after that song had come out, there was a dude watching a trivia quiz show, and the question was, what childhood song makes a sneak attack appearance in Men at Work's Land Down Under? And the answer was Kookaburra. And the guy watching was like, what? Because he owned the copyright to the song Kookaburra, because he got it from somebody. The woman was still alive in 1988, and copyright law goes like for X number of years.
You're right.
And so he's just like, he sued Men at Work and said, I would like 60% of all the money you've ever made on that song.
Holy crap.
Because it definitely goes do 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 do. Right? It's definitely there. And they ended up settling on 5% of all proceeds after 2002, I think, or something like that.
Did you know that all the DC characters are about to be copyright free in like 10 years?
No way.
15 years. Like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Joker. I mean, it's all gonna be like the 40s versions of them.
Finally, there will be weird pornography on the internet.
Thank God. But this was like a relatively well-known thing, especially in the Middle Ages. So there's paintings of people doing the cuckold's ears. It pops up in Shakespeare plays.
Just like that behind their head?
Yeah.
Is the joke like you're a deer who
I'm gonna kick your ass.
cheated on?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
But it happened actually also very recently. So the Italian prime minister was in a photo with the Spanish prime minister, and he did it to him, and he was very upset. And the Italian prime minister had to be, oh, I didn't know, or whatever. But so it's still, there are some people that still use it that way.
Oh my God, I did not know this at all. I want to, now I have to purge so many birthday photos of all of my children.
Well, right, and eventually, obviously, people just were like, that's silly. They're not bunnies. And then, yeah, it got watered down, watership downed.
What about as the peace symbol? Very popular among Japanese schoolgirl photos.
Right. They were probably not as excited about V-Day, as it were. VJ Day, I guess.
Totally. No.
That is what it's called. It just sounds weird.
I know, but it took me a second to realize what you were saying. Yeah. Totally unrelated.
Correct. So that's that. You know, shakas? Hang looses?
Yeah. I didn't know it was called shaka.
Yeah, shaka's
I know hang loose.
So hang loose, popularized in Hawaii.
Yeah.
It's based on a guy. His last name is Kalili or something. But basically, he worked at a sugar mill or some kind of factory, and there was an accident, and all these fingers got torn off. So this was really all he was working with. And he wasn't able to do his job anymore, so they had him running security for trains. And mostly he would yell at kids and tell them to get off. And it's unclear exactly if he was saying, you know, you crazy kids, go do something else, or if he was pissed.
Or maybe like they're asking him to like, hey, will you help me with this? And he's like, my God.
Yeah, I cannot. But either way, kids then co-opted it for themselves, kind of mockingly, but then just kind of like, nothing matters, hang loose, whatever. And then also apparently he was popular in one of the local churches, and he would, I guess, be doing that. But it's funny because it's like, well, he didn't have a choice. That's just sort of what he had.
Yeah.
And then people thought that was nice. And then it was...
Oh, what a nice young man.
Yeah, with this...
Only a thumb and a pinky.
And then it really became popularized in Hawaii and then the world at large. There was a politician, started using it in ads, made it like the slogan of Hawaii or whatever, and then from there it kind of propagated.
I've only been to Hawaii once, but boy, they do love doing the hang loose symbol.
It's their whole thing, I guess.
Well, that and I could think of another historical event that might be their thing.
Speaking of VJ Day, I suppose.
So there's a beer that is very popular here in Austin, and it's probably about to expand and be nationwide, called McConauhaze. Are you familiar with this?
No.
Okay, so they're riffing on the fact that Matthew McConauhaze is a famous Austin icon, incredibly talented actor and all that stuff.
Hazy IPA, I assume?
It is a hazy IPA, and the logo was, as an alumnus of University of Texas, he would always flash the UT horn. And so Twisted X Brewing Company, located like 6 miles down the road, they were like, well, let's just go for it. We'll call it McConauhaze, and when we get in trouble, we'll see what happens, right? Okay. Turns out, Matthew McConauhaze, super cool with it. Super cool, like, oh, I love it, I think it's really great. It's like, well, could you be the official spokesman? He was like, yeah, let's have a meeting. Right before the meeting, the shooting in Uvalde, Texas, which is where he came from, he's like, sorry, I have to go. And off he went. They were like, well, we'll have a meeting later. Meanwhile, we'll still make this wonderful, delightful, hazy IPA. We'll get around to clearance rights on everything. But it turns out that there was one entity that was not a fan of the logo.
Was it UT?
It sure was. UT is like, we own the copyright to the UT horns, and we're not gonna have you, even if it's about Matthew McConaughey, put this on a beer. And they're like, okay, what if we changed it to this? And they're like, well, that's fine. And now, separate story, here in Austin, very popular among the deaf community is McConauhaze, because in sign language, this means, I love you. So they just walk up, and it's on every tap. So they just walk right up to the bar, and they do this, and every bartender knows exactly what hazy IPA to pour for them.
I'll try it since I'm physically here in Austin.
It's dry January.
What? Not for me. So high fives.
High fives.
High fives, which we can do because I'm really good at keying now. And sound effects. The exact origins of it are sort of unknown. There is a lot of examples of around World War II, the African-American community doing a lot of low-fiving. But in 1977, there was a baseball player named Glenn Burke. ESPN had this whole story on it, but this other guy on his team named Dusty, I think he hit a home run. He's going around the bases, he gets back, and he sees Glenn Burke standing like this at home plate. And he's like, I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna slap it with my hand. And then Glenn Burke hits a home run immediately, like back-to-back or in the same series or whatever. And so he does the same thing, they do the high five, and thus it was born across the world. Because it's kind of like the middle finger thing, where it just sort of, it needed a catalyst, a public event. And then what's interesting about Glenn Burke after that is he's the first professional baseball player to come out as gay. But while he was on the team, they were constantly offering him $75,000 to get married because they could all tell, I guess. And they were like
they were calling him out or teasing him in hopefully a playful way.
No, this was the owners or whatever.
Oh, they were like, it would be helpful to our organization.
Yeah, we'll give you $75,000 if you could just get married.
Do you know that there is an actual world record for the world's long, they didn't call it a high five, they called it a sky five.
Is it the amount of time until?
No, it's the distance at which point the two people, they run towards each other and then they leap up in the air and they have to connect in a sky five before their body lands. That world record was set, I wanna say 2010.
Did you do it?
Yes. All right, Dr. Jordan Breeding, where can we get so much more of your incredible insights and commentary?
Best place is probably if you just go to YouTube, you look at my channel, Dr. Jordan Breeding. It's really long videos about me talking about movies forever.
Nice. We did this whole eclipse thing, and it was gorgeous, and the weather's gorgeous, and the bees are buzzing, and the flowers are beautiful, and the butterflies are flying. And Nathan, tell me about Squarespace.
They're a website provider. They provide beautiful templates online. They're affordable, and they've been around God knows how long.
Like, are they good templates or bad ones?
They're really good templates.
Why?
We use them.
Also, they're award-winning designs. I'm gonna let you slide on that one. What happens if your message suddenly becomes super popular and the whole world is interested? What do you do then?
Hope they don't go down, but they won't.
That's right, because of the distributed hosting. Did you know about the robots? They got robots now to help you write your words. They got robots to help you with the S and E's and O's. That's probably not the way you say search engine optimization. Doesn't matter, I think you understand what I mean.
How do I get more?
Well, first of all, you get it a free trial by going to squarespace.com/rogue. How is rogue spelled?
R-O-G-U-E.
Yes!
Modern Rogue is supported in part by viewers like you at patreon.com/modernrogue. In the description, you can find all of our credits and additional ways to support the show.
Did you ever, as a kid, do this one where you would give them ring
Yeah,
finger?
Yeah. As soon as you learn about, it's like yelling frick as a kid, or fruck was what we always used.
Fruck.
Yeah. Which I actually thought was the bad one.
Why not just go, but it's spelled with a PH.
Yeah. But it's fine, it's Australian. As they're expelling me. Yeah.